Hello there, I'm Jo Winthrop and this is the Amijo Show. This is one of the series of stock. So very much about the second half. Hopefully there's only two halves of this whole of being in lockdown. So we're all at home, we're all stuck. And I'm taking this opportunity to speak to as many as I can, amazing friends that I've got in my circle, and find out what's happening for them, and also just give them an opportunity to give you hopefully a little bit of advice and sort of, something you might be able to work on or think about right now to help this time of being in one place, which is a challenge. So I'm thrilled to introduce you today to Kim-Adele Platts. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Jo. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on the show. So Kim is an executive coach. She's very much into leadership, and she has a beautiful analogy, which is in this very book here, all about the water cooler moment. So a lot of teams and businesses, employees right now are missing those moments of connection around the water cooler. Probably for me, it'd be around the coffee pot, got to be honest. But the same thing. Water cooler is so much healthier, and I love that analogy. And that's very much Kim's focus. But obviously, Kim has something else in common with me, which we'll come on to in a sec. But yeah, so how are you doing, Kim? What's happening?
Yeah, so I'm doing really well, thank you. But it is a challenge for us all, isn't it? It's like, I think we're all grieving a something. And for me, the thing I'm grieving most is lack of choice. So my world hasn't changed that much. I work from home now. I worked from home before. I have the added balance of having my little person with me as well. So trying to juggle that, which I know many of us have. But I think for me, what I used to be able to do was go, oh, I'm going to go and work out of a coffee shop today. So I still feel socially interacted. I can still get that buzz. And obviously we can't do that right now. So that was probably the thing I had to come to terms with and accept, and then go, okay, but you can't change that. But what you can do is focus on the things that you can do, the focus on the things that are in your gift. Because I think for me, worrying doesn't change anything, but it does change us. It changes how we behave towards each other and also how we behave towards ourselves. And I think we have to be kind, and that includes being kind to ourselves. So it's okay if we have one of those days where we just go, oh, I'm really struggling with the motivation today. Because that is the world we're in right now, but it's trying to then focus on something that is going to give you some joy and enable you to kind of, I guess, stay connected. I think it's unfortunate that they chose the term social distancing, because I don't think it is. I think it's physical distancing and socially connecting. And actually now more than ever, and I guess that's why I was writing about it in the book, what people lack is that social connecting. And as a leader, we can forget about that. So we talk to our people remotely about tasks, about how they're getting on with the job, about how the work's going. But we forget to connect with them as human beings about what they watched last night, or can they recommend a good box set, even if we haven't got time to watch it.
And how's it going with the kids and stuff like that? A lot of people will be families with the kids running around and trying to manage that.
Absolutely. And I think for me, it's the importance of making sure that we still do that, and that we create an appropriate space for people to be able to kind of duck in and duck out of that. So, I talk about using WhatsApp groups as almost a bit like a virtual pub. So I've moved from the water cooler that's really healthy to a pub setting, but almost that piece that says at the point that you come in to the conversation, just like if you were meeting friends in a coffee shop or a pub, you join then. So there's no pressure to go back and have read everything. There's no pressure to have answered all of them. You pop in at the point you want to, and you pop out at the point you don't, but it allows you to have a bit more of a social interaction that can be really helpful.
Yeah. And are there stats coming through now of how much people are connecting, socially, like from, employees? Because, it must be interesting to see who is bothering, who isn't. I don't know, it's probably interesting times.
Yeah, it's a really good way of being able to check that your people are connected. And actually, I run a couple of women in business groups, and we've now moved to WhatsApp and things. And it allows me to see the people that aren't coming in, I know to go and check in on them, because it's like there's possibly a reason why they aren't. They're not normally that quiet. And we do regular Zooms and things like this, because that's another great way of you being able to see if the person looks okay. Because they're there, and you can read their emotions in their face. And again, it gives you a good checkpoint to say, do I need to pick up with that person offline and just make sure that they're okay, and they're feeling supported, because we are all in it together, aren't we? And as with everything in life, we'll be stronger together if we work on those things.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important to recognize that people are having different challenges. You know, thankfully, no one in my family has been affected as yet, but you know, so many people have. So you know, there's so many different stories going on for everyone right now, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. And you know, there's you know, sadly some devastating things that are happening for people, and you just don't know what people are going through. You don't know how close it's got to them. But also for the people that haven't been affected by the disease, they've still been affected by it because of the other things that are, you know, causing that chaos. You know, for me, for example, my dad's unfortunately got Parkinson's, and he's extremely vulnerable. So we're not able to see him, but it's finding different ways of doing it. So we've now created, we have a live cake. So we update videos every day so you can see Scarlett growing, and then we do FaceTime. And she, like, bless her, grills him to death on the Disney princesses, make sure that he's not forgotten which one's which. But it's still about making sure that you kind of like, that you're staying connected and that you kind of keep those ties going strong, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely, it really is. I think that's we can do it. It's not quite the same, but it's not forever. So therefore, we've just got to, you know. And you and I, we're stuck at home with our kids, bless them, because you know that's part of the deal as well, isn't it? When you're a single parent, you've just got to get on with that too. It's all challenges, but there's always a plus side, and I'm enjoying spending more time with my kids, interacting in the day. It feels really nice, actually.
Yeah. It's a lovely balance, isn't it? It's like and I think it is that thing. It's about having a good plan. So you know, I've now worked out I can do a couple of bits, you know, in the morning, and then she needs me to have lots of time with her. But you can distract her, and then again you can work when she's gone to bed. But you know, yesterday it was one of those bizarre things where 1 minute you're on a board conference supporting people with a transformational change, and then the next minute we were out finding leaves on our one walk of the day to create her own hungry caterpillar, because that's the book that they should be reading right now. And it was lovely to sit and do that, and you think, actually, normally I wouldn't find the time for that. Perhaps that would be something that nursery did, and actually that's a lovely memory that, you know, we did together, and then we took pictures and posted it to her friends. But I think you just ended up getting more creative, haven't you? So we ended up having a glow stick disco with her best friend, who's 4 doors away. So we both got glow sticks. We both shut the curtains. It was like it was broad daylight because it was about 5:30 at night.
Oh, I love it.
Put some music on, and the kids, you know, had a little dance. So I think it's pushing us to do things differently. And I was saying, one of my friends who's very into her fitness has set up a fitness group, and she messages us on a Sunday with this week's challenge, and I think she's trying to kill me. So it gets worse every week, but we have to keep going on and saying how we've done, and it's lovely because we were all staying connected, and we get that kind of daily support and opportunity to like chat in with each other or complain about which one of the exercises we dislike the most.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, isn't it? How, you know, everyone's bringing their own skill set to the situation and going, well, actually, let's get us doing this. So I did my first poetry party the other night.
Oh, fab.
I love writing poetry, and I just happened to have this conversation with a few people. They're like, yeah, we do poetry, so I'm going to do a couple and do that again, because I would never have thought of that normally, but actually it was really lovely to do a Zoom call that wasn't about business, that wasn't, you know, just about getting the wine out. It was just really different. And I think it's nice. It's an opportunity, isn't it, to think outside the box a bit. But going back to the kids, because obviously we both in our chapters in the book wrote about how we manage our kids as well. That was mentioned in yours, and I think just the boundaries and really over communicating is what I call it with the kids. So they really know what's happening for you. Really helps, doesn't it, when you get them on board?
Absolutely. And you know, and sometimes that can be a challenge, can't it, getting them to understand. I mean, my little girl's 3.5, so sometimes that's getting her to understand. Keeping the understanding can be a little bit more of a challenge, but she gets it, because actually we've now got a thing where she'll say things like, that's a plan, mummy. So clearly I must say that to her too often. And she'll high five me and do team when we've done something. So we set out our day on this is kind of what we need, and this is what mummy needs from you just for this period, and then we can do this for you. And being brilliant, to be fair, and everyone else has been so lovely. So, you know, as you know, when we did this group interview the other day, she wandered in dressed as Elsa, including her tiara, and sat and joined in, and everyone was so lovely. And I obviously put her on mute so you didn't have to hear, but people were really accepting of the fact that actually that is just life right now. That is the things that happen, and I think we've all learned to be a little bit more appreciative of the fact that we're all in challenge, and therefore those things are actually just nice. I mean, people have been really lovely about it and really accommodating and happy to see her Disney princesses or whatever else it is that she wants to bring.
Well, we all need that to feature us somewhere in our day, don't we? Really, a bit of lightness and a bit of Disney, for sure. But yeah, no, things do go wrong, and you know, I think it's really important how you just allow that to happen and not feel bad about that. You know, there is so much that could go wrong. The door could ring. You know, parcel could be coming. But you and I are used to that, aren't we? We used to this kind of the juggling of it. So I think you just accept and not concern yourself with the stuff that isn't quite to plan. But yeah, no, that's fantastic. And so we're also talking about kind of, you know, moving forward, because I'm going to try and start having more conversations about, you know, after this. Because we both love red, I've just asked you to be in Red January with me. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Of course. No, I would love to. I know every time we talk, we seem to both have turned up in red, so it's clearly our connecting colour.
It definitely is colour of power, colour of decision making, the colour of the base chakra too. So powerful colour. Yeah. But yeah, but I think it's nice to start thinking, you know, of things after this. I'm just organising my first retreat for next spring in the US. So I've had retreats here, but not in the US. So that's really exciting because it's getting me thinking about moving forward. And that's kind of nice with the kids as well, isn't it? Because, you know, there will be an endpoint to this, and therefore it's nice to think, right, okay, you know, I'm going to take my kids camping. We love camping. And we can just get back to basics. It's just nice to have that in my mind.
Yeah, it is, because I think, you know, we are going to come out of this, and you know, there will be a new future. And I think we've talked about, you know, people going back to their normality, but I don't think we'll go back. I think we'll move forward. So I think this moment of enforced pause has given us all a chance to reflect and reevaluate. And I think for a lot of big companies, they're now seeing that one of their challenges was the prohibitive cost of property in growth. So they were trying to consider, how do they do more of a balance of home working and office working, but didn't think they could do it because of technology or regulation. And this has absolutely proven to them that they can. So I think we'll end up going back to more of an augmented way of working. And that brings with it huge opportunities for us to get more balance back and to be more socially aware of our impact around, you know, the carbon footprint. But it also brings with it some challenges for people as they move into that world. So, you know, I've been spending a lot of time with my clients, getting them focused on developing the skills that they need to be able to lead effectively when they come out the other side, and to support and empower their people to go on and be ready for what comes next. Because I think what we do is we focus on today's problem, and actually we've got tomorrow's that's looming, and it doesn't have to be a problem, because if we think about it now, it becomes an opportunity. If we don't think about it now, it becomes a challenge, because we're not looking at it until it's today's problem. So it always feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good approach, isn't it? Because actually, at some point, the green light for go will you know, come up, and actually then we're faced with all these choices. Yes. When I'm absolutely with you, why can this not, you know, I've had so many discussions in my career with various managers saying, why can I not work from home? Yeah. And nobody's ever really given me a very good reason. And apart from the security systems, which are aligned with obviously certain brands, especially in finance, but you know, that it is there, that technology is there now. And so therefore, why not? Because actually we're all happier and healthier working from home. I mean, someone raised a very worthwhile question the other day: what would happen to Canary Wharf? Because pretty much, if 2/3 of Canary Wharf stays empty, but then we've got a huge housing offering, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it is. It's about how we repurpose things, and I think this is this has forced us all to think differently and think creatively, as we've talked about, in managing our children and managing working from home, and managing ourselves and how we cope with the kind of pressures that we're all under. So I think, you know, whenever there has been a moment of enforced pause in history, that's when people have really got creative, and what comes out the other side is things we never dreamt could happen. And I think that's going to be what happens now. So I think there'll be things that do go back. I think there'll be things that come out that are new. But I think on balance, it will be, you know, it will be challenging. There's no point denying that. But I do think that there will be huge positive opportunities as well. And it's using the time now to get yourself ready for those.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks, Kim. So give us your details, best place for people to get hold of you.
So probably be on my website, which is Kim-Adele.org, or I'm also on pretty much everywhere, so, Twitter and Instagram as Kim-Adele10, or LinkedIn, and feel free to get in touch. I would love to talk to you.
So Kim-Adele.org is your website, and then Kim-Adele10 on social media.
Yes.
But just Kim-Adele Platts on LinkedIn, aren't you? So
that's right, yeah.
We're connected on LinkedIn. And obviously you can read Kim's chapter in Remote Working, which is our international number one best-selling book, which is amazing, and it's still doing phenomenally well. So super thrilled about being in that book with you, Kim. It's been a great journey doing that, and obviously connecting with you. So thank you for coming on the show today. And we didn't have any sights of Elsa, not today. She stayed out of the way.
She's currently fully occupied. I keep checking to make sure, because I've got the monitor on, but she's currently playing happily downstairs in the playroom. So I've got a feeling I'm due for not much more of a reprieve.
Oh, okay, it's coming. You can feel it in your mum bones. Oh, thanks for coming on the show, Kim. Lovely to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and this was Jo Baldwin-Trott. That was the Amijo Show. Please comment and like the video, and share if you think someone would benefit from Kim's great advice here for leaders and mums and people at home managing their kids right now. Okay, take care.